My name is Chonnie Richie, and I am the founder and executive director of Independence Gardens. Since 2013, we have equipped and empowered kids in schools and communities to access fresh food. We're not just growing food, but we're growing leaders. For us to be able to grow leaders to be change makers of tomorrow, we really have to address the most basic needs, and that is food.
Hi, my name is Sophia Richie, and for these past couple of years, I've been serving as the youth volunteer coordinator, primarily for Independence Gardens. I'm now transitioning into more of an executive board role, and I kind of got into it because this whole org started with me, with my school lunch here at my elementary school, actually.
When we got to lunch, I noticed that not only Sophia threw 85% of her food away, but also a lot of her peers did as well. And she turned to me and she said, "Mama, can I have another glass of chocolate milk because I'm really hungry?" So I realized at that time that not only was she learning hungry, but she was going home hungry. And we were fortunate enough that we had an opportunity to feed her after school. But what we realized was a lot of other kids in her schools at that time didn't have the chance.
I think from the moment we built up this space and, me and my classmates saw the fruits we grew, in that moment we kind of realized, oh, okay, this is something really cool. This is something that we can do outside of school.
Independence Gardens really sprouted from the belief that every child should have access to fresh food. For Independence Gardens, it is a right and not a privilege.
There are two ways to measure the impact. One is on individual kids, and the other part of it is socially in terms of demographic impact. The awareness that they have that they didn't have before about nutrition, and the nutrition being but one of the reasons why they fall back academically eventually. Individually, I've seen kids just hey, wow, I never tasted this before. I've never seen a star fruit before. That's something when you actually witness it, it's fulfilling.
When I was around 12 or 13, it was actually here, and it was one of our very first harvests. And a little boy came up to me and he asked me what was growing in the ground. And I said, "Oh, that's a carrot." And he goes, "I didn't think they came from the ground. I thought they just appeared in the grocery stores." And I feel like in that moment, it really set in for me what we are trying to do with IG. We're trying to show these kids that there's more to food and that they can really have this connection with their food and they can create it themselves. And I remember in that moment, that little boy was just so amazed by a simple carrot. It was tiny, it was covered in dirt. It was not the best looking carrot by any means, but he was just amazed that it could be coming from something that he'd grown and planted and not just, a grocery store. And I think that moment has really stuck with me throughout the years.